The name Romney typically conjures up images of a wealthy political family. However, Rebecca Romney, the well-known Pawn Stars book expert, has amassed her fortune using paper and old books. Her well-known last name and enormous wealth have a much stranger backstory than you might imagine. You immediately think of politics, wealth, and power when you hear the name Romney. One prominent figure in American politics is Senator Mitt Romney. His estimated net worth ranges from $190 million to $250 million. He has been in business for a long time and has done well, which is why he is wealthy. He founded Bain Capital, an investment firm. Fans of Pawn Stars might wonder if Rebecca Romney is from this influential family when they hear her name. Does a sizable family fortune contribute to her success and knowledge? Despite the apparent connection, the entire story is altered by a secret in her personal life. She is not related to Romney. It's from her ex-husband, J.P. Romney. Rebecca Romney has stated that she has never even met Mitt Romney, despite his indirect connection to the well-known senator. Her life and finances are unaffected by the link because it is so distant. She won't be the next head of a large family. The name is merely an error and a diversion from the true tale of her accomplishments. To completely comprehend her story, you must be aware of this. She didn't have a 7-figure safety net or close family connections to help her achieve her goals. By being intelligent and diligent, she has earned every penny, sold every rare book, and created her reputation from nothing. Where does she get her money if it doesn't come from a wealthy family? The response is far more intriguing. Being at the top of the rare book trade, which is a very exclusive and lucrative job, has made Rebecca Romney extremely wealthy. She is more than just an avid reader. She has a lot of power and works with some of the priciest printed materials in the world. In 2019, she and her business partner Brian Cassidy founded Type Punch Matrix, which brought her a lot of money. This business isn't your average local store. Located just outside of Washington, D.C., in Silver Spring, Maryland, it is a posh museum filled with antiques and valuable artifacts. To even enter, you need to schedule an appointment and ride the elevator to the 3rd floor. The name of the company tells you that Rebecca is well versed in it. The punch matrix system, known as Type Punch Matrix, was developed by Johannes Gutenberg and is an antiquated method of creating metal type for printing presses. Because of the name, collectors who are serious about their collecting will be aware that this company is run by a professional and not merely a seller. She stands out because of her honesty, which also enables her to sell such valuable items. Her business partner, Brian Cassidy, contributes a unique skill to the organization. He specializes in counterculture groups, the Beat Generation, and the Mo Revolution, a period of independent publishing, and has been selling books since 1994. Contrary to what most people consider to be rare books, they have a large variety of both classic and contemporary items. The way they manage their business is also fascinating. They want to make book collecting more accessible and diverse for everyone, despite the fact that they deal with extremely costly items. They sell inexpensive items like first copies of science fiction books for as little as $15 in addition to pricey historical artifacts. They even have sections dedicated to zines and pulp magazines, demonstrating their interest in pop culture in a way that isn't found in a more conventional and stuffy rare bookstore. Additionally, the items she sells are extremely valuable. In her career, Rebecca has made $500,000 from the sale of one book. That sum is substantial. The amount of money made from that single sale might exceed what many people earn in a year. That won't be the only time. Her company frequently deals with items that are equally valuable, if not more valuable. Shakespeare. Folios, which are collections of plays written in the 1600s, have been sold. In 2020, a complete first folio from 1623 sold for nearly $10 million at auction, setting a new world record. Even later, in 1632, the second book can fetch up to $400,000. She has also sold the first copies of one of the most significant scientific works ever written, On the Origin of Species, written by Sir Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. These are not merely ancient texts. The fact that they are significant items in human history is reflected in their prices. Her handling and selling of individual leaves from the Gutenberg Bible, the first large book printed in the West, is even stranger. Since 1978, a complete Gutenberg Bible has not been available for purchase, making it extremely valuable. However, a single page can be quite beneficial. The price of a single leaf can range from $55,000 to more than $150,000, depending on its quality and the page it appears on. Everything in her company's inventory is for sale, making it resemble a museum. In an interview with the Washingtonian, Type Punch Matrix offered to sell a unique typescript of Allen Ginsberg's well-known poem, Howl, for $375,000. For $15,000, a first edition of Robinson Crusoe was also up for sale. Her constant supply of valuable goods is the source of her wealth. She makes more than just money from her business. In this fast-paced industry, the product alone is worth millions of dollars. When Rebecca Romney began making appearances on the popular History Channel program Pawn Stars in 2011, she became well known. She was brought on as the show's specialist in rare books. Anyone with an old book they believed might hold a secret treasure would bring it to her when they entered the gold and silver pawn shop. She was the only regular female expert on the show, and her enthusiasm and intelligence quickly made her a fan favorite. She has emerged as one of the most prominent experts in the show's history. She had no intention of becoming a TV personality. Coincidentally, it happened. At the time, she managed the Las Vegas gallery for Bowman Rare Books, one of the world's largest and finest rare book retailers. Her company was contacted by the people who make Pawn Stars because they needed an expert. At first, Bowman refused, but Rick Harrison persisted. Rebecca had to go through a difficult interview process to get the part now that she was in charge of the shop. After that, she rose to fame on reality TV. Rebecca frequently breaks bad news on the show. She makes fun of herself as the destroyer of dreams for telling hopeful sellers that their dusty family treasure isn't worth much. However, she occasionally gets to witness firsthand that they truly do possess something unique. One of the most memorable and practical items she ever evaluated was a 5th edition of the Book of Mormon, published in 1842. The seller, Adam, brought it to the store in the hopes of receiving $25,000. Since it was the final edition to be printed while Joseph Smith, the founder of the religion, was still living, he claimed it was extremely significant. Rebecca was immediately impressed when she arrived. She added that it was a significant component of the most widely practiced religion in the U.S. The Book of Mormon. Wow, this is really hard to find, she said. Then she revealed the secret. Rick was informed by her boss that she would sell the book for $40,000 because it was the most expensive book she had ever seen in the store. Rick gasped. The vendor was overjoyed. In the end, Rick paid $24,000 for the book, which was a significant amount that could only be accomplished because Rebecca was aware of its value. On another occasion, a vendor displayed a tiny, exquisite book from 1547 called The Dance of Death. It was covered in woodblock prints of skeletons dancing with people of all social classes, from kings to commoners. Rebecca's eyes brightened. She said, "Rick, this is officially my favorite book that you've had me look at." The book was written in the 1400s, when people were particularly interested in death due to famine and the Black Death in Europe. She claimed that when life was so depressing, the book was a way to laugh and enjoy yourself. When she saw a photo of a skeleton robbing a store owner of his money, she joked, "Look, Rick, I found you." She believed the book was worth a staggering $16,000, but Rick only paid $9,500 for it. Her passion for and familiarity with the history she brought to the evaluation was the sole reason. Her expertise also played a significant role in the show's well-known negotiation scene. A first edition of John Adams's 1787 book, A Defense of the Constitutions of Government, was once brought in by a vendor. Adams hurried the book's publication in order for its theories on the separation of powers to influence the upcoming U.S. Constitutional Convention. There was a $5,000 item for sale, or, because the binding had been expertly fixed up, Rebecca valued it at $10,000 and confirmed that it was a first printing. Rick informed the seller that he would make things simple now that he was aware of this. "I'll give you $5,000 and nothing more." They immediately agreed when the seller first requested that precise amount. Rick received a fantastic deal because of Rebecca's estimate. You would think she gets paid well for being one of the most well-known experts on a global hit show. Chumley and other members of the main cast were reportedly earning up to $25,000 per show, after all. However, what if I told you that Rebecca received no compensation for each performance? You'll be surprised to learn this fact. Pawn Stars' outside experts are not compensated for their time, according to talk show host Rick Harrison. Therefore, why would a leading authority in her field take on free labor when she could be managing her own company? The answer lies in the true worth of television advertising. There is no cash involved. It takes the shape of priceless international advertising. Every time Rebecca appears on television, her name and abilities are displayed to millions of potential customers worldwide. The value of this free advertising far outweighs any attendance fees. It draws customers to her business, helps her establish her reputation, and positions her as a leading authority. Her work at Pawn Stars isn't exactly a job. This is a fantastic method for selling your company. She declines a modest one-time payment in order to safeguard her business and reputation in the long run. Because of this astute business decision, she might be the most well-known rare book dealer in the nation. However, they don't just seem so confident and knowledgeable about their subject on camera. This woman has lived her entire life in classrooms and libraries around the globe, away from the spotlight. She is the greatest in her field because of this. Rebecca Romney's success can be attributed to her hard work in school and her passion for language and history. Her on-screen persona only scratches the surface of the intelligent woman she has been growing into since childhood. She began her journey by reading extensively as a child, a habit that continued into her college years of intense study. She majored in languages and minored in philosophy when she earned her degree. She did more than just read books. To put it another way, she researched the fundamentals of language and thought from the Stone Age to the present. Her ability to speak is truly remarkable. She can read like a native speaker. These include both ancient languages like Latin and ancient Greek, as well as modern ones like French and Japanese. This ability is very beneficial in the rare book industry. She can read a book from the 1600s and understand it without a translation. For good reason. She even taught herself Old English in her spare time, she claimed in a Reddit AMA. She desired to read Beowulf in its original language. This one fact demonstrates her dedication and intellectual curiosity. She traveled the world because of her passion for language and culture. After graduating from college, she lived and worked as an English teacher in Japan, where she mastered the language. She claims that learning to read Japanese was far more difficult than learning to speak it. But she practiced a lot to become proficient. She learned a lot about another significant market for rare books and papers from this experience, which also helped her become more tolerant. Her everyday life is also heavily influenced by the world of books. J.P. Romney, who writes and studies history, is her spouse. The Monster on the Road is Me is a book he wrote for young adults. It's a darkly humorous tale that blends modern Japanese culture with traditional Japanese tales. Kota Okita, a high school student in Japan, needs to wear a large hat to protect his head because he has narcolepsy. His life is the subject of the book. Kota discovers that his narcoleptic episodes are actually a supernatural ability that enables him to battle Japanese mythological demons after a string of unexplained deaths occurs at his school. Because it was humorous and depicted the realities of small-town Japan, which J.P. Romney was familiar with from his time spent teaching there, some reviewers found the book appealing. Together, Rebecca and J.P. write fantastic books. In 2017, they authored Printer's Error, Irreverent Stories from Book History, and co-founded Biblio, a book show. The book is an enjoyable and simple journey through the peculiar and fascinating history of printing. It contains tales about Benjamin Franklin and phony books alike. Her co-worker Rick Harrison commented on Pawn Stars. Who knew the written book could be so much fun? Rebecca and JP along with their 2 kids, reside in the Washington, D.C. area. Despite her fame, she has experienced the negative aspects of being a woman on television. Although she is aware that some people are more interested in her appearance than her intelligence, she manages it gracefully, and her husband finds the whole situation amusing. Because of her passion for learning, Rebecca Romney has amassed a substantial fortune in a variety of ways. She has an international business, a supportive family, and a sharp mind. What is Rebecca Romney's net worth? Her primary source of income is unquestionably her business, Type Punch Matrix. She co-founded a business that sells items for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and occasionally even more, so she could earn a lot of money. She and other high-end dealers profit from the purchase and sale of rare items, receiving a commission for each transaction. In my experience, I have sold individual items for $500,000. She is undoubtedly in a very high income bracket based solely on her business income. Writing books is her second major source of income, and it brings in a lot of money. She has written or co-written several books, including the romance novel in English, Printer's Error, and her most recent book, Jane Austen's Bookshelf. The royalties from these books, which retail for between $20 and $30 each, are consistent. These royalties give her a consistent source of income and solidify her status as a leading authority, even though they aren't as significant as a $500,000 book sale. Giving advice and appearing on TV and other media shows is her third source of income. According to her official website, she offers paid consultations to people through her business. Additionally, she played a significant part in the 2019 documentary, The Booksellers, which focused on the rare book trade in New York. She is portrayed in the film as a key voice for the industry's future, arguing that the internet has made book collecting easier than ever before and refuting the notion that it is a dying pastime. Because she appears in high-profile documentaries and is featured in publications like Forbes, The Washington Post, and The New York Times, she is compensated to speak at events and do other things. A multi-million-dollar fortune is demonstrated by having a successful high-end business, writing multiple books, being paid to serve as a consultant, and having your name associated with a popular television program. She even stays in touch with a new generation of book lovers on social media, platforms like TikTok, where she shares videos that demonstrate how to identify first copies of well-known books like The Great Gatsby. This wealth came from a sharp mind, hard work, and a genuine love of the stories that old books have to tell, not from a well-known name or family fortune. Rebecca Romney's story serves as a compelling illustration of how real money can be made using intellectual capital. She has crafted a career in which each aspect of her work adds value to the others, creating a hidden wealth as remarkable as the rare books she deals with on a daily basis. She became a well-known author and co-founder of a large rare book company after becoming an unintentional TV star.